This thing is crusty.
People would think you're sponsored by Ape Defense. You like that shirt, don't you?
Yeah, I do. I like the guys down there at Ape Defense too.
Yeah, dude.
So cool dudes.
It's a good shirt. Cool dudes.
Cool dudes. Good shirt. All those guys down there.
Frickin'. Ready?
3, 2, 1. VCOG.
Hey everyone, it's Eric and
Roy.
And thanks for checking out another Hatchet Cast episode. Today we're going to be talking about the Trijicon VCOG 1-8, which was also supplied to us by Optics Planet.
Yeah, so thank you, Optics Planet. By the way, if you guys would like to support us, head over to Optics Planet. That's a great way of doing it, right?
Yeah.
We have a discount code through them, don't we?
We do. It's in the description.
Outside of just that discount code, they have phenomenal discounts on Trijicon VCOGs right now and other Trijicon products.
Yeah, so they are running a big sale.
Huge savings right now on Trijicon products over at Optics Planet.
Yeah, so go check them out. And special thanks again to Optics Planet for making this episode happen and sponsoring this episode. If you haven't done so already, please hit the like and subscribe button. It really does help us out, as well as hit the notification bell so you are notified whenever there's a new episode coming out. Also, comment below your experiences with the VCOG. We would love to hear from you. Share your knowledge with the community. We would all benefit from it. Yeah, the good, bad, and the ugly of what your experiences have been with the VCOG 1-8 or even the 1-6. So let's go jump right in. Oh, the disclaimer about the episode.
Because we did kind of screw up our schedule a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Yeah, we released an initial thoughts this past week, but we have had the optic actually for about a month. We just posted the initial thoughts episode that was recorded a month ago this past week. So it's not like we had this optic and reviewed it in 8 days, 6 days later.
This is our full in-depth review.
Full in-depth review.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I had several thousand rounds through it. Roy, you had?
I probably had a little less. I put a couple of days, a full day's worth of training, testing some stages for our upcoming gas gun match, stuff like that through it. I'm probably sitting around about 500 rounds on it.
Yeah.
But enough rounds that I can have an opinion.
Yeah, and it was beat up not beat up, but it was well used. So
we didn't intentionally go try to destroy it.
No drop.
Even if we did try to intentionally destroy it, I think this thing would handle it.
Yeah, let's just talk about durability.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you can tell that this thing was built to be a battle rifle optic.
A thick,
right? I mean, typical Trijicon way, completely forged housing on it. For you guys to know, forging is extremely durable. All right, and they took it a step above compared to what a lot of companies do when they're building optics. They went with a very high grade aluminum, so aluminum on a different level. So they went to the 7075 T6 aluminum on it.
Yeah.
So very, very durable, all built-in housing all together, one piece with the mount built into it and everything. So no need for a secondary mount to add onto it, no need for additional stacking tolerances or additional bolts and screws and things to Loctite, just simple.
You don't have to level it either.
No, you don't have to level it, so which is fantastic. So everything is built in, typical Trijicon way. They offer this optic in multiple different variations with different reticles and stuff like that. We have a MRAD reticle, correct?
Yeah.
Is what we have? All right. Is this model just straight up front, just to let you guys know? I don't know the exact name of that reticle. Do you?
It is the MCO, I believe.
MCO reticle.
But it is just it has the crosshair reticle, and it's actually going to come on the screen right now.
Pause. Don't pause.
No, don't pause. It's still on the screen. We can talk about it.
But it has a typical mill reticle, which that's definitely something that me and Eric prefer. Starting from the rear of the gun, starting from the rear of the optic, not the rear of the gun. The diopter. Plenty of adjustment.
Yeah.
Tons of adjustment, right? I was playing around with it, saying there should be no reason, regardless of what if you have any stigmatisms or anything wrong with your eyes, that you shouldn't be able to make this glass super clear for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably probably more adjustment in it than I've seen in almost any low power variable type optic before. So plenty of adjustment. What about this adjustment knob for your magnification?
So the adjustment knob on the magnification already has like a built-in, not a throw lever, but like a throw nub is what I like to call it. Very, very stiff, so you don't accidentally bump that turret and make it go magnified versus not. And even the stiffness of, like you were talking about the eye relief, the diopter on the back is very stiff, so it doesn't get bumped loose.
Yeah, you can tell that they have a ton of mindset behind this being, like I said, once again, a battle rifle optic.
Yeah.
I mean, it is built. Like Eric said, you're not going to bump that that magnification. You're also not going to get it hung up on anything.
Yeah.
Any kind of kit or gear, wearing this thing around a plate carrier, chest rig, slinging it to your back. It's not going to get hung on your belt or anything like that. There's nothing really to catch on. Everything is nice and smooth. You just grab the entire thing and just twist it straight.
It's crazy is a lot of, if this was designed for the Marines specifically, you could tell that it's rounded off, especially for like Marines with maritime stuff or being in the water, having those things rounded off so they're not snagging. I think you could, it most likely seems like it was something that Trijicon thought about when designing this.
But yeah, on the throw, very, very easy. Just pretty much almost 180 degrees from one side to the other, from 1X to 8X. Most everyone's probably going to grab this thing and just rock it from either 1 all the way up to 8.
Yeah.
But if you do find yourself in the middle, like I said a minute ago, we are in a front focal plane mil reticle.
Yeah.
So you still will have complete use of your reticle. And if you are someone that uses a mil reticle for actual ranging and things like that, you'll be able to do so. I know that the ones, most optics that's always been issued to the military have typically always been a BDC.
BDC.
So this is kind of interesting to finally see, as far as a typical infantryman, have a mil reticle being issued to them. So I think that is pretty interesting. From what I understand and talking with guys that have had the opportunity to run it, most guys are not necessarily using their mil reticle as a true milling reticle. They're just creating dope charts.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much what most people are going to do anyways.
Yeah.
With rangefinders and everything else out there nowadays, the technology on that stuff's gotten really, really good. Not that you should not know how to use your mil reticle for ranging. I think you should. That's part of the purpose of having it.
Yeah.
But most guys are probably just creating dope charts.
Yeah.
AKA creating their own BDC.
Yeah.
So
if you are, whether you're a prepared citizen or an infantryman, especially in the Marines, if for those who have like a squad or team that you work with, and you have like, say for example, like a marksman who's running a bolt gun or something like that, or like a AR-10 or a M110 SAS, you can talk to your elements that use mil reticles for their sniper rifles or their marksman rifles, and you can give them measurements and actually be a real asset to that individual, or you can understand measurements that they're giving to you. So if you are an infantryman or you are a prepared citizen and you work in a little group, learning mills is something that we highly encourage. In fact, we teach mills at our scope carbine course.
Yep. So, which is another great way to support us.
Yeah.
And also a great way to kind of come out if you're unfamiliar with, milling reticles and gathering a good dope chart for them and stuff like that. So we'll walk you through that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, another good way to support us is this. So go check the website. We have these new hats, the 47 Barrel and Hatchet mesh hats, as long as other hats have been restocked. Sharpie holsters back, map pouches so you can store your maps and stuff like that. Candy bars, dope charts, all that kind of stuff. But go pick up some gear. It really does help us out. And also, if you can't find anything on the site, go check out our affiliates. You can always look there as well.
And if you're having a hard time finding something on the shop, this website, you can always call us at the shop.
Or stop by and say, hey.
Stop by and say hello.
Yeah.
So we'll help point you in the correct direction. So. All right, continue working through. The throw lever, obviously, very, very easy. No snag levers or anything like that on it. Absolutely fantastic, very, very stiff. You can kind of tell very much like the ACOG, like there's almost like a rubbery, like an impact resistant coating on the VCOG, which I like. That's one of the things I've always liked about the ACOG. And then, plus not to mention, for me personally, when it does, I don't know, there's something about an ACOG that's kind of beat up a little bit. That's really sexy looking.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like the VCOG, even though you don't necessarily think it's
ugly as sin.
You think
it's just
ugly.
hideous.
To me, I like it. I like the look of it. I really am looking forward to really getting some true seasoning on this thing where it starts to become really, really salty.
Yeah.
Over the next probably 6 months of running it, it'll definitely get some real wear and tear on it. And I'm really looking forward to it. I have all the faith in the world that it's going to hold true.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I mean, you can tell it's definitely the same type of way that they manufacture this is the same way they make the ACOG in terms of the housing that they're using. Very similar, very rugged. Going to the turrets. So they are capped turrets, and they do have the wire that holds the caps on there so you don't lose them.
Which I actually do like. I've always been a fan of that. I'm not very good at taking the turrets off because I tend to twist the wire and get it all kind of tangled up.
It is kind of a pain.
I probably eat crowns also. So
I eat colored pencils.
To me, it kind of gets tangled up. So I got to concentrate. I can't talk at the same time that I'm trying to do it.
Yeah.
But you can tell they're 10th mil adjustments. You can tell it's not something that they intended. As Eric drops the rifle.
Yeah. Don't let that happen.
It's okay though. It's a VCOG. It would be perfectly fine. 10th mil adjustments is what it's in. They're very solid. So you can. I don't know if you probably can't hear them, but you can feel them. Get your mic really, really close. So, very solid adjustments in it. Not intended to dial. You could say zero it, leave it set. The cap turrets are super nice. I've always liked the cap turrets. I tend to lose or misplace them when I'm in my zeroing process, but it's nice to have that. So
especially in your it's a battle optic, so you got to make sure that those turrets are protected to try and keep the longevity of them. And then also on the left-hand side of the optic, you have the illumination knob. What's great about that is in between every number, it cuts off. So there's 2 night vision settings as well. So if you wanted to aim passively through it, you can. We never did. In fact, whenever we did our night shooting, we just used the IR laser. But it is not totally like super daylight bright like a Vortex Razor HD, but it's also not as dim as like a primary arms type optic. It's a good in between.
Yeah,
it's good enough.
So. It gets the job done. It's good enough. So.
And it's powered by a AA battery, and those things are everywhere. So if you end up running out of a battery, you can always drop a new AA battery in there.
Like finding a AAA battery when your remote goes dead.
Yeah.
And you're in the middle of watching.
And instead of replacing the battery, you just roll it around until it starts working again. How many guys do that? Comment below.
Everyone does that.
Yeah, I do.
So, how many of you have electrical tape or some type of duct tape on the back of your remote because
you lost the cover?
You lost the cover.
Not me.
This guy does.
Yeah.
What about the glass clarity, man?
Dude, the glass clarity is incredible.
Yeah.
That's one thing that was a big takeaway from this is like you would think in a rugged optic, you're always going to think, oh, maybe the glass is going to be kind of hazy or whatever. It is extremely clear, and that's something that is a huge bonus, I think, for the effectiveness of like the infantryman, being able to have super clear glass clarity and also a really good reticle.
Yeah, too. I typically am not a low power variable fan.
Yeah,
I'm really not.
No.
I was having this conversation when we got this optic with Ben over at Wiseman Company, and we were talking like when we got this thing in, he was like super excited, to kind of mess around with it himself, and I was sitting over there with my typical prism scopes, and I'm like, man, this is my jam. I'm just not a low power variable fan. There's typically too much. There's not enough gain a lot of times, in my opinion. You usually lose that 1x where it's kind of cruddy, and you have a really, really good like 8x or something like that.
Yeah.
Or you have a really, really good 1x and you don't have a good 8x.
Yeah.
In the 1 to 8 category, I would put this one right now probably pretty close to being right there at the top.
Yeah.
So I haven't had the opportunity to play with an NX8 yet. We're getting our hands on one of those. But the VCOG 1 to 8, it really does a phenomenal job on 1X.
Yeah.
It is edge to edge clarity. I would say, in my personal opinion, playing around with it, I would say it's probably about right. It's a bold statement.
Yeah, it is.
And
yeah.
it's tough to give it the number 1 slot, but it's right there.
I think overall qualities too. The fact that it is that rugged, it got a built-in mount. There's a lot of things playing.
There's a lot of things that make me want to leave it on my gun and run it.
Yeah.
Like as far as calling it The only downside for me, well, a positive side is how good the 1X is, because I don't have the ability to run a top dot. I'm a huge fan of running a top dot. Unfortunately, in this particular situation, there isn't a mount out there currently that I know of for a top dot. I know Unity makes a 193 riser where you can do an offset mount in it, which is really cool. I just don't like my magnified optics to sit that high.
Yeah.
So I could go with some type of offset mount. I still prefer my dot to be mounted directly on top, dead center.
Yeah.
So the 1X is kind of important to me in this situation with this optic, and I'm really, really glad that it is really clear and crisp. The 8X, in my opinion, is really, really good too. There's that fine line between, you know, trying to make the reticle where it's good on both ends, and I feel like they've done a really, really good job of it. Trijicon did.
Yeah.
If I really want to be a little nitpicky, like I said, the 8X might be a little bit thick to stay aligned.
Yeah.
As I start to get out there like that 600, 700 type yard with it, it starts covering up targets, but we're also not talking about a precision optic.
Yeah, I mean, you got to think LPVO. It's a general good thing over many different things. Nothing. It's not perfect at certain things. So like, it's a general purpose optic. So yeah, I mean, I would say between all of the ruggedness, it's one of those optics that it's rugged enough where it's like the optic you hand down to your grandkids.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be abused, used, beaten up, but still be working. And I know 20, 30 years down the road, people are still going to look at this, kind of like we do with the ACOG.
Yeah.
You can find, there's ACOGs out there that are almost 20 years old.
Yeah, one of my ACOGs, it was a hand-me-down.
Yeah.
And I've had it for the past, like, I don't know, probably 12, 13 years.
Yeah.
So
yeah, the VCOG has also got that same type of aura to it. So like, if you're a Marine and you've used this in the service and you still have this as your issued optic, let us know your experiences down below. What's the craziest, most beaten up VCOG you've seen, and is it still running, or is it having issues?
The only thing I wish, and it's nothing against the optic whatsoever, I would like to run the precision tree model.
Yeah, yeah. So and they have that model.
Yep, they do. Yeah. So they have one that has more of a Christmas tree style reticle in it. It's something that I'm a little more used to and I prefer. Gives me some wind holds, you know, out at distance. So I personally would probably lean into that model if I was purchasing one. And maybe in the future I probably actually will, because I really do like this optic a lot. It's probably... once again, it's probably one of the only low power variables that I've found that I kind of am jamming on. I really like it. So.
Yeah, so I mean, let's jump into the reticle, because that is something that, even though it didn't have a Christmas tree reticle, which is what we're used to,
still very usable.
Very, very usable. The one thing that it did have is obviously every 5 mils, there's a number. So it'd be 5, 10, and 15. So what I would do, and I think this is just a training curve type of thing, I would count, start from the 5 and work my way back up. Like if I'm shooting 500 yards, usually a 3 mil hold for me, especially for this 14.5 Griffin armament rifle. So I would count up from 5. Or I would, if it was at 300 yards, I would count down from the center of the crosshair. So every half mil is in between the is labeled as a smaller stadia in between the full mil sizes. But overall, the reticle was very, very usable, and I think it's a great thing that, especially like the Marines specifically, they're going to having their infantrymen using mills.
Yeah, right now you talk to a lot of guys, and like I said, most guys are probably actually just creating dope charts. Yeah, is what they're doing. They're not really using their mill reticle to mill with it, but that will change. It's a training curve. That's all it is. They've been issued BDC reticles forever. That's what they know. And you talk to a lot of guys that have had the opportunity, to them, this whole world of mill reticles is super confusing, even though it's been around for a very long time. It's really not that difficult. No, it's not. You just got to get out and physically train with it. We talk about it all the time. Take a class, or just get behind your rifle, get behind your glass, and start learning. Get out there and actually range some stuff. So. And
that's something that I would say for this reticle, it just needed more time to get used to it. Yep. Other than I'm always used to Christmas tree reticles with like a mil label every 2 mils, but so this is definitely something like it is very capable. And even though it's not a precision optic, you can make precision shots.
Correct, and that was what I was going to lead into. Like so many times we look at the this particular rifle, looking at an M4, looking at a 5.56 rifle is not necessarily as a precision rifle. With modern barrel companies and things that are out there now, you can take a 14.5 rifle with the right ammo, and it becomes a precision rifle. It becomes something that can make hits on very small targets at distance, with the proper shooter and the proper training behind it. Yeah. So having the advancement in optics and having optics with more capable reticles that have more information that they can give back to the shooter, that the shooter can utilize with more wind holds and things like that. That is, to me, that is the future.
It is.
Because we really are getting into rifles and shooters that are becoming more capable.
Yeah.
We're finding more and more individuals that are actually investing in themselves and going out and training, which is huge. For the longest point in time, well, I've always liked to say it, I've owned the shop in Florida for a very long time, and when me and Eric first met, we've had this conversation, and actually I had a conversation with Ben once again too. Ben coming from Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania has a very, very training mindset where a lot of the shooters up there in Pennsylvania train a lot. One of the things in Florida I've always felt, in my personal opinion, is that we're just consumers, we're collectors. So
the gunshine state.
The gunshine state, it really is what it is. Now you're starting to get real shooters in Florida that are spending more time and really becoming assets now.
Yeah.
Becoming a better quality shooter, a better asset to their family, to their community behind a rifle.
Yeah.
So I really think that this optic with the precision tree in it, I really can't wait to try one, but I really think that's going to be this reticle is really good. It's a great reticle. I think you can get the job done with it, but the precision tree reticle in it really puts it over the top.
Yeah, and I would say, to your point, Roy, the more capable the rifleman, the more you desire information.
Yes.
The reticle will complement the shooter. So, having even standard ball ammo with this, you got in the hands of a capable shooter and a good optic, you can make hits very far.
There's going to be a lot of individuals, and I hear it constantly all the time. They're like, "Oh man, that it's just too busy. That reticle is too busy."
Yeah.
The more time, I'm going to tell you right now, the more time that you spend behind it, the more information you're going to want.
You're going to want.
So the only way to find that out is to get out and train. That's it. So if you're interested in training, like we've said a million times before, that is one of the best ways to support us. You gain some information off of it. We get to meet you in person. We enjoy training with you. We obviously offer a scope carbine class where this optic falls perfectly in line with.
Right.
So come out and train with us.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, like Roy was saying, you have to be training. You have to go out and get time behind the gun. That's the only way to grow. So you can have a very capable optic. And this is also, like I said earlier, it's a high-priced optic. Like, it's not cheap. But it is going to last you for a long time.
Don't just buy this optic because it's cool and it's what the military uses.
Or even if we just said, hey, you should buy this, you should
be buying this optic because you're wanting to get out and spend some time behind it so you can become a more capable. It complements you as a shooter.
Correct.
If you spend the proper amount of time behind it.
Correct.
So,
any final words?
Outside of that, I really do think this is a great piece of glass.
Yeah.
Like, it is a fantastic optic, and once again, thank you to Optics Planet. It really does mean a lot to us to have companies like the Optics Planet and like Big Tech's Ordnance and a few others that are out there supporting us, Primary Arms, sending us stuff. For the longest point in time, me and Eric were like, this was just kind of a hobby type thing, and now we have real supporters outside of you guys that are, companies that are jumping on. You guys are obviously our biggest supporters, and as always, we thank you and look forward to training with you.
Yeah, and another good thing about that is also they allow us to be unbiased. So we're going to give you our pure actual opinion and not be biased in any way. But with that, make sure another great way to support us, go hit the like and subscribe button, comment your experiences below. Also, go check out our Instagram page for any behind the scenes type stuff or updates on classes. Also, we have Spotify, the HatchetCast podcast, and we're also on Rumble for any backup videos that are from YouTube. And also, we're trying to grow Twitter. So I'm posting on there as much as I can. We're posting a lot more information on Twitter and also a lot more links that won't be covered up. So go check us out on Twitter and also the Discord. But yeah.
Lots of places to find us.
Lots of places to find us. And also, please come by the shop and check us out. We'd love to meet you guys. It's awesome meeting you guys at the shop or in training. Remember, guys, go out and train, be the asset and not the liability. And we'll see you on the next one.